So for any of you guys that regularly tune into the channel, you may have noticed that I've not really been covering 2042 lately, and today I pretty much just wanted to talk about why that is the case. There is more 2042 content on the way, so don't worry about that, but like I said, today I just wanted to pretty much explain why I haven't been playing, as I feel like it's a topic that a lot of people actually might resonate with, and I pretty much just wanted to fill you guys in on it. Now, before we get into it, if you guys aren't aware, I do have a brand new gaming channel that's pretty much built to cover all AAA games. At the moment, we are covering Starfield over there, and if you guys are interested in that, be sure to check out that channel. We'll be doing a setup tour once we hit 1k subscribers, so be sure to go and check that out. But with that being said, let's get stuck into it. So firstly, as much as I do really love 2042, even with all its issues, it's been a pretty long journey as a fan, let alone as a creator. The game has obviously had so many lows, and even the highs are kind of tough with the speed of the content, which does make content creation harder and easier to sort of burn out with. The game has obviously been out for nearly 2 years now, and I've pretty much been playing the whole time. There's obviously been little periods where I'll take a couple of weeks off or something like that, but for the most part, I've pretty much been playing since launch. And with the way that this game has gone, that is a pretty long time to be playing. I know any of you that are still playing probably know what I mean. Even if you've really enjoyed the game, it has been a pretty damn long journey compared to previous Battlefield games that have maybe kept us a little bit more hooked. There's more content on the way. It's always a little bit more exciting. Whereas with this game, even though there's definitely been moments of excitement, there are definitely plenty of periods where there isn't really that much new and exciting that kind of keeps us drawn to the game. Now, season 1 through 4 felt really fun to me. There was always plenty to play and plenty to cover, but season 5 definitely dropped a bit as we got a little bit less content than normal. And now with the delay of season 6, the game has definitely sort of started to feel very stale to me. That is obviously just my own opinion, but I also do know a lot of people are kind of feeling the same thing. I've seen it a lot on Twitter. I've seen it in just conversations I've had with friends who are feeling the exact same way. And I do think that that is pretty much related to both season 5 as well as obviously the delay of season 6 and the sort of Redux event that they've done in the meantime. Now, I want to make it clear, I'm not trying to say I'm like over the game or I don't enjoy it or anything like that. I genuinely do really like this game despite all its flaws, but I do think I hit a bit of burnout there that was probably a long time overdue, to be honest. The game, like I said, has obviously had a very long journey, and I've kind of just stuck with it the whole time, and it never really, dropped off for me, even when there were definitely periods when I probably should have dropped off. In terms of, it's kind of surprising that I didn't, if that makes sense. So I think now that the lack of content has really sort of reared its head with Redux, the fact that we're kind of just getting recycled content there and season 6 was delayed, I think that has kind of brought on that burnout for me, which, like I said, is probably a long time overdue, and it's actually pretty amazing that I didn't burn out on this game a little bit earlier. Now, I should also say that when I'm talking about burnout, that doesn't mean it's permanent burnout. That just means that at this very moment, I haven't really had the itch to play, and that happens a lot with me for, whatever games, mostly multiplayer games. I generally play them for a long time, and then there'll just be a period where I just sort of can't be bothered with them anymore. It will last maybe a week, maybe a month, maybe 3 months, even longer, but generally speaking, that isn't ever like a permanent thing, and that's why I'm not really worried about it happening with 2042. Now, on top of that, there is also the impending release of XDefiant, which, if you guys have seen on the channel, I've been covering that quite a lot at the moment. I'm very excited about that game. It felt really, really fun to play, and it kind of had that proper itch to it when I was actually getting my hands on the beta, where it made me want to get back on and play. I was really, really excited to play it. And even on top of that too, I'm not a fan of the recent Call of Duty games, but Modern Warfare 3 does honestly look promising for the first time in probably nearly a decade now, to be completely honest with you. And then on top of that as well, I've also had so much to play on that gaming channel that I just mentioned with Starfield. There is also Spider-Man 2 on the way. There are just so many things right now that are kind of taking away from my available playtime, I guess you would say. And so that has kind of led to me pretty much having to drop 2042 for the moment, because it is essentially just kind of lowered down on that priority list. All of that has pretty much just added up to the point where I've essentially not had that enjoyment when I've played 2042. I've jumped on a few times now to try and sort of play Redux and see how it went. I initially was planning on doing weekly videos still on Redux, going over like essentially a review for every single mode, because obviously each week they're recycling the modes. And honestly, every time I've jumped on to play Redux, I'll play for about 10 minutes and I just sit there thinking, I just don't really want to play this game right now, and I just jump off. For me, I'm not the type of person that is going to force out content on a game, or even just force myself to play a game if I don't really feel like playing it. For me, and realistically for everyone, video games are just made for fun, and if I don't really have fun playing a game at the moment, then I'm not going to play it. I don't force myself to play games, even when it's, I feel like I should be grinding something. I've maybe paid for a battle pass, and I kind of get that mindset of, I should try and finish the battle pass. I've paid for it. I don't really tend to do that. I just think if I'm not enjoying a game, I'm not going to play it. It's as simple as that. And for me, like I said, right now, that is kind of the case with 2042. It's not to say I overall don't enjoy the game. I absolutely really have loved the journey of 2042, even with its issues, like I said. But at this current moment in time, I'm definitely just a little bit burned out with the game and really just the franchise as a whole. The other thing that I have learned over the nearly 6 years now of being a content creator is that sometimes you do have to kind of just take a break from a certain game in order to get that sort of longevity out of it. So if this game was to be supported for another year, for example, I want to be there and I want to cover that game. However, if I keep playing it every single day, I will absolutely get burned out with it. And if I just keep pushing through that burnout, I'll probably get to the point where I resent the game. That happened to me with Battlefront 2. It's not to say that I still resent that game, but honestly, when that ended and I tried to kind of keep pushing through with it, it got to the point where I genuinely just did not enjoy it, which is not a fun feeling considering that is one of my favorite games of all time. But there was a period there where I literally just did not like the game because I tried to kind of push through that. And that has taught me that if I want to keep covering a game in the future, sometimes a break is definitely needed to sort of refresh that enjoyment. And that is another reason that I've kind of stopped with 2042 at the moment. Now, with that being said, I 100% will be covering season 6. How much of the season just depends on how good the season really is. If it's really enjoyable, I'll probably just cover it like I have been with all the previous seasons. But if it is a bit more similar to season 5, then there is every chance I'd honestly just do a review of the season, maybe 1 or 2 more videos and just move on again. And at that point, XDefiant might be out. We know that the Modern Warfare 3 beta will be out around that time. So it really does just depend on season 6 for me personally. And there is honestly a lot of pressure on that season, probably not only for me, but for a lot of players out there. Now, whether I continue with Battlefield content in the near future, like I said, that I'm not really sure about. It's really just down to how season 6 goes. It also depends on the future of 2042. Is there going to be season 7 and 8? I'm not really too sure. And it also comes down to how well XDefiant launches. Like I said, I'm very keen for that game, and if it launches really well and it's really fun at launch, then there is every chance I just, begin to focus on that game because it's something new and exciting. So essentially my coverage of Battlefield in the future, I'm not really too sure about. Rest assured though, the next Battlefield will absolutely be the main focus of the channel once again. Battlefield is easily my favorite shooter franchise. It always has been and probably always will be. Even with its recent failures, I just always have loved this franchise, and I know that when they do announce the next Battlefield, no matter what I'm playing, whether that is XDefiant, whether that is the next Call of Duty, hell, whether that is 2042 still at that point, I absolutely know that when they announce the next Battlefield, I'm going to just want to drop everything and start covering that game as well. So for those of you who subscribed initially for the Battlefield content, if you're worried about, Sammy's moving on and he's going to be playing other games, don't stress, because obviously when the next Battlefield is on its way out, I will be absolutely shocked if I don't essentially drop everything to start covering that game once again, because I just want Battlefield to do well. And I know that if it is doing well and I'm still making content, which I assume I will be at that time, then I know for a fact I'm going to be wanting to make more Battlefield content. So that is pretty much just an update on what I've been doing when it comes to 2042. I know some of you may be a little bit annoyed or disappointed that the content on the channel has been more about XDefiant, and that is completely fair. You guys subscribed for Battlefield content, not necessarily for XDefiant content, but I've definitely learned from the past in terms of Battlefront 2 on the main channel that it is just not worth sticking with a game when I don't enjoy it, just trying to cling on to the past. That is one of the biggest mistakes that I honestly ever made with that channel, and I know for myself it is definitely the better option to just focus on the games that I enjoy, whether that be Modern Warfare 3, whether it be XDefiant, or maybe I get the love back for Battlefield in season 6 and maybe I just keep covering that as well. I built this channel to be a shooter channel, not necessarily a Battlefield channel, and so realistically I'm just going to go wherever the enjoyment is. Where that is, we'll just see over the next few months. But that is going to do it for this video. Like I said, it was just a quick little update on pretty much why I haven't been covering 2042, but like I said, there will absolutely be season 6 content. I can't tell you guys why just yet, but I know for an absolute fact there will be content coming out on the channel, so keep your eyes peeled for that in the next few weeks. And like I said, be sure to check out the new gaming channel as well and help us on the road to 1K subscribers, where I will be doing a setup tour, like I said. But with that being said, thank you all very much for watching. You guys have a great day, and I'll see you all out there on the battlefield.